Welcome back. Thank you for your valued company. We continue with today's programming, and right now we move on to the next segment, all about women and women in leadership. With us in studio this morning, we have Pamela Ateka. She is a senatorial aspirant here in Nairobi County and also is the founder of a community focus group as well as Women in Democracy and Governance. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today.
Asante sana.
Now, we encourage you to also interact with us. If you have any comments or questions you would like to direct to our guest this morning, use the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. My handle is at Jain Wambui. We welcome your thoughts. We will be sampling them as and when they do come in. So, Pamela, you know, you are a Nairobi Senatorial aspirant, which we will be getting to in a while, but you're also the founder of Community Focus Group as well as Women in Democracy and Governance. Tell us a bit about these two entities, their genesis and what they're all about.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Wambui. I'm so happy to be here with you this morning. First, I'll tell you about myself. I was born in Nairobi. My parents come from Kakamega. And my civic engagement background started in 2000 when I founded Community Focus Group. And we started by feeding children, vulnerable children. We also started by doing training workshops, which is capacity building for youth groups. We trained them in human rights. We trained them in theater for development. Through the years, we've grown, and we also started working with teenage mothers, helping them to forge sustainable livelihoods.
That is a community focus group. Now, what of Women in Democracy? Women in Democracy
founded it in the year 2011. And we started by training women leaders in democratic governance. We trained the leaders to be able to understand what leadership is and be able to vie for political office.
And what progress has been made so far with this group, looking at the intention of, you know, encouraging women to take up this political space? How much progress has been seen over the years, given it's more than 10 years now?
Yes. You know, COVID happened in around 2020, and this also sort of like retracted the progress of the organizations. But currently, we went to feeder training, and we were trained on leadership and democratic governance.
Yes.
And this also helped me to bring women around, women in the 47 counties, women who had aspirations to vie in various positions as governors, as senators, as women reps, and as members of the county assembly. So what happened is that we got together as a group of women in all 47 counties.
Wow.
And we started encouraging each other because we all had the same aspirations to vie for different political elective posts.
Yeah.
And during, we've gone through the nominations, you know, the party primaries and how crazy they are. We went through the IBC clearance, and you know, women usually face a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
First, it begins with patriarchy. It's also about the insecurity that is caused because of, you know, during the campaign seasons. So women, when they look at leadership, and especially political leadership, it's a scary thing for them. So when we got together, we would, women would post the various things that they are doing when they are campaigning, the groups that they are speaking to, even when they go to the marketplace, the people that they are talking to. And some would say that this is doable. And also the women who are running for governance. We also have like women running for governors as well. And also independent women who are running for president or deputy, in the deputy president positions. And this has helped women to see that these things are doable. these things are doable. And having women in the same like WhatsApp group has helped them to see that women from different counties, West Pokot, Turkana, can see the women from Nairobi, whatever they are doing, and they're encouraged that, I mean, a woman like me can do this. I can do this too. And that's what I love about it.
All right. And what does this tell you about the place of women in the Kenyan political space, given, as you rightfully put it, the patriarchy reigns supreme? But now here you are with a group of women who are aspiring to rise to this representative post, coming together. But taking that step back and looking at the place of women in the Kenyan politics, what are your thoughts?
The place of women in Kenyan politics has been a journey, and a great journey. We've seen women like Charity Ngilu come from being a housewife into being a member of parliament. We've seen a governor now. And now a governor, we also saw her, you saw the Masai Ngilu. She was also running for president at some point. We've also seen women like Martha Karua do her journey and also start her party. And right now, she's also running for, she's also being a part of as a deputy president to our incoming president, because I'm in Azimio, I would boldly say that, to our incoming president, Raila Amolo Odinga. So I would say that the place of women in Kenyan politics is changing, and changing rapidly, and it has been. And it is also a responsibility of each and every one of us to take a step, to do the little bit that we can, to encourage, to inspire, to uphold, and ensure that women get into these elective posts. I see, like even right now, KBC, you're doing your bit. You're doing your bit in encouraging women all across to not only take a step, not only in vying for political office, but still be able to go for campaigns, be able to show up and show off in terms of women leadership.
All right. And then there's always been this narrative that is being propagated where people are saying it's not that we're not giving women these opportunities, it is that they're not showing up for the opportunities that are available to them. Is this true?
Well, what I would say is it's kind of like ish because you see, like in the group that I'm in, most women are saying they do not have they're not getting the opportunities that they require to be able to get into the campaigns. And this is compounded by problems of finances. This is compounded by problems of political parties not being able to support their candidates to be able to do campaigns. This is also compounded by the sibling jostling within the parties. Because you see, if you see, like Azimio is a conglomeration of parties. And these parties, each and every party wants, supremacy in terms of their candidate. When you look at all the candidates who have been cleared in terms of Azimio or Kenya Kwanza or independents, there are quite a number of candidates. And I would say that it's the jostling of political space. It's the jostling of positions that is causing women not to have a voice and to have a space. And as they try to do this, it's kind of like scary for some women, but they're trying. And they're putting themselves out there. I think they're trying.
We're getting better compared to where we are.
Yes.
All right, now let's come to your political journey. This is not the first time you are throwing your hat in the political race. Take us back to when your interest in politics stemmed up.
I actually started politics in the 2008 when during the by-election for Mugabe Were. When he was assassinated. And I joined politics because I felt the voice of the youth was not being heard, and there was a lack of inclusivity for also young women. And at that time it was really scary because it was also a Mugiki period, And I vied against very huge political giants at that time. I vied against Waitito, Pasaris, and the late Kalembe Ndile. And it was quite a process. This gave me the courage and the audacity to try again this time, because in 2012, sorry, I also vied, but I lost at the ODM nominations.
Now, here we are. You are vying for Nairobi Senatorial office, an elective post. Why this particular office and why Nairobi County? Looking at all the other counties and all the other elective posts, 6 of them, you went for the senatorial. Why?
First, I've grown up in Nairobi. I grew up in Nairobi, and Nairobi is my town. The way you go to Kisumu and everywhere, and they say this is my town. Nairobi is my town. Nairobi is a town that I'm passionate about, because when I grew up in Nairobi, the systems were working. The systems were, water was sustainable. You could not wake up even in a day and see there's no water in the tap. There was no garbage, as in, like, we used to have what we call the cameros. Cameros used to come. We used to call them cameros, because then they used to have this metal dustbin collectors, and then they used to have the city council used to have the camero. The camero used to be I don't even know how to explain it. It's very interesting, because they would
use
pick
Kiswahili if you must.
Yeah, they would pick the dustbin the dustbin collectors, and then throw them in the cameros, and then it would roll. It would roll. So as kids, we used to go out there and just look at, hey, the camero has come. So you run to mom, the camero has come. So now we can, throw out the dustbin.
Yes.
So that is how functional Nairobi was. There used to be systems. The systems were working. Right now, I think when you go to the taps, how many times do you get water in Nairobi? In most places, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm running because I feel the aspirations of the people of Nairobi. I feel the damage. I feel that as a people we can do better, and we deserve better. And that's why my slogan is, that's why my slogan is, every Nairobian matters.
Every Nairobian matters.
Every Nairobian matters.
Yes.
Look at the health systems. Look at the hospitals. When I was young, you could actually go to a clinic. You're sick, you go to a clinic. There was medicine. It was working. It was functional. You could not even imagine, going to a private hospital. There was nothing like that. We just used to know when you're sick, you just go to the clinic and you'll be, you're set. You're good, you're okay. Right now, it's an embarrassment, because the local person cannot even access healthcare. I mean, really. What kind of Nairobi are we living in?
All right. Now, you've mentioned water, which is a big concern for Nairobi residents. You've mentioned the garbage as well as healthcare. And it's interesting that just before this discussion, we actually had the current senator, Honorable Johnson Sakaja, with us. He has been the senator for this county for the past 10 years. Now, here you are hoping to ascend to this office. What are those changes that you are hoping to effect should you be elected into this office?
And I'm so excited that you actually had Sakaja come in, because I've actually made contact with him, and I'm keen to actually have conversations with him in terms of what is it that was not working? What is it that should be working and has not been able to be put on the fore? Because you see, what happens with when we go into elections and when we are in different forums and in different parties, we never have this, one-on-one conversations.
Yes.
Personally, I would love to have the chance to sit with Sakaja and go through, have this conversation in terms of, what is it that he was not able to do that he should have done, and how can I do a continuation? Because when we get into campaign mode, we never have conversations. It's more like it's like a war. It's like a war, and I think it shouldn't be, because at the end of any election, we all work for the people of Nairobi. We just remain the same Kenya and the same people who need to have our systems working. So personally, I would work with the governor.
Yes.
The incoming governor. I would work with the governor to ensure that service delivery works. Because you see, when you're a senator, you don't have the budget for that. It's the governor who has it, and the country central government that has it. So I would work with the governor to ensure that the systems and the service delivery works.
All right. Now, service delivery is also another area of concern for so many Kenyans. So again, looking at the fact that you are running under a DAP ticket, as opposed to many other candidates that are different parties and as independents, what is it about this party that made you want to associate yourself with it in order to run for this post?
The party, Democratic Action Party, is a very strong party. Although it's a very young party, it's a new party. And why I joined the Democratic Action Party is because, one, not only because it's a new party, and you see, when you have something new, there's a chance to begin again. Not, okay, like most parties have been there. What have they really done? You know, so a new party has, when you're starting something new, there's a sort of like a freshness.
Yes.
You know, like something like a new beginning, a fresh start. And I believe being in the Democratic Action Party at this moment and this time, it is vital, it is good, because we are able to set the pace and to set the tone in terms of what, as a party, how we can forge our county forward.
Okay, now this brings me to the whole aspect of corruption. Now, corruption is an issue that we have been dealing with as a country year in, year out. Administration in, administration out, government in, government out. Here we are going to another election to hopefully get the next government. Now, focusing still on Nairobi County, the capital city, a hub for so many international organizations, and yet we are struggling as a county when it comes to the management of funds and consequently development within the county. Looking at this aspect of corruption, how do you intend to work on it, to deal with it, to get to a time where corruption is not one of the issues that are challenged when it comes to running Nairobi County, and especially in the senator's position?
You see, now, coming from the Democratic Action Party, I'm also in the Azimio coalition.
Yes.
And the Azimio coalition has a presidential candidate called Raila Amolo Odinga and has a deputy called Martha Karua. Now, when you see this team, you know that they are not going to tolerate any corruption, because these are people who have integrity. These are people who have standards. These are people who are tried in terms of their political journey. And this is the team that I am working with. And so what I would say is, corruption is not just a one person's job.
Yes.
Corruption, as in to deal with corruption, it's more of a concerted effort of government. And as the Azimio government, I think that is part of what we are going to do. Also, as a senator, that's part of what I am going to oversight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, looking at this elective post, the senatorial office, you are vying against a number of other polit candidates. And according to the dailies that an article that was featured on one of the dailies yesterday, they indicated one other candidate as being mostly preferred by Nairobi residents, and this is Sifuna. He had a huge gap ahead of all the other candidates, and you are also in the race. Do you still feel you stand a chance against some of these candidates who are considered to be more seasoned as opposed to being a newbie in the political space?
I have a great chance. And why do I have a great chance? It's because it's never over until the fat lady sings. How many days do we have going into the election? We 33. Have kind of like 33 days.
Yes.
And you know, it's the people of Nairobi who are going to elect. So we have not yet gone into the elections. So I have a great chance. And since they say that it's never over until the fat lady sings, let's wait until the fat lady sings. Let the people of Nairobi decide, because I know I still have time. I still have time to campaign more. I still have time to reach the people of Nairobi. And as even right now, we are reaching most of them. So you never know. In the next few hours, those ratings might just change.
What was the reception of the Nairobi residents when you announced your candidature in the senatorial race? What was the reception that you received?
Basically, the young people really love my candidature. The women do support my candidature, and the artists too. As I've also been an artist. I've contributed in terms of poetry. I have represented the county and the country in many forums. I've organized poetry festivals. I've organized, you know, poetry and drama festivals, even in Nairobi. So my candidature was really got a very good reception.
Okay. Now let's focus on the electoral body, IEBC. A lot has been said about IEBC in this year's elections, and we want to hear from your experience as a candidate, looking at the electoral laws and regulations, both that were made in 2012 and amended in 2017. Just yesterday, there was a judgment that was given that, you know, squashed some of the requirements that IEBC had for presidential candidates. Now, as a senatorial candidate, how have these regulations been for you?
Personally, when I look at the IEBC regulations and the on and off court
back and forth.
Yes. What I would really like to major on is when there was a problem with the 2/3 gender rule, when they had told political parties that they should ensure that they reach the quota, and then the court went and squashed that. That was for me, that was a really a setback, because I felt that we could have had more women in terms of having the political parties having them vie at that point. So
there's more that needs to be done?
There's more that needs to be done on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, also, we are living in a time where voter apathy is still a problem for so many Kenyans. As you rightfully put it, you have said Nairobi residents did receive your candidature with excitement, with warmth. But how sure are you that these residents are going to show up and vote for you? What steps are you taking to ensure that you encourage them to, or come August 9th, wake up, go cast their votes?
You've seen the rate of inflation has gone very high, and the residents are really going through a lot, and they feel that I mean, we must take into account that people are suffering at this moment and at this time, because we've met a lot of the Nairobi residents. They feel that Nairobi is not working as it should. Water is not sustainable. Garbage collection is not working, and I understand the voter apathy, because I am a Nairobian too. But this staying at home and not coming out to vote is not an option. Is not an option. When right now, what we are doing, we are encouraging and inspiring, especially the young people and the women, to really not only call their family, but also their neighbors and their friends to vote, because voting gives them a voice. It gives them a voice. It is their right to vote. It is their right to come out and vote. And when they don't vote, it means that they no longer have a say on whatever happens in Nairobi, and that's not a good option.
It is not a good option.
It's not
so
a
you
good
need
option.
to show up and
so
vote.
They need to show up and vote.
Much as there's a huge percent that are still in that group that are not decided as to whom they're even going to vote for.
That's why they should vote for me.
That's why they should vote for you. Yes. All right. Now, this brings me to the narrative around gender. it has been a tool that has been used by the grand coalitions. And this is one of the most heated elections looking at our history as a country when it comes to the gender aspect. And there are critics who have come out to say that women are now using this gender aspect to sort of get sympathy votes to ascend to this office. Looking at the role of gender in this year's election, given it was one of the aspects that tipped the scales in the grand coalitions.
When I look at the issue of gender and like you say, that women are coming out to use the gender card.
Sort of using it as a fashionable thing to ascend to office.
But it's politics, you know? As in, like, you use what you got. You use what you got. But having said that, in the future, it won't be just women leaders. It will be leaders. So when a woman enters politics, somebody said, the woman changes. But when many women enter politics, then the politics must change. So I know that many women are entering politics and many women are on the ballot this time. And it's a huge and very beautiful menu. And I would urge Nairobians, as they go and look at that ballot paper, when there's a woman, please do vote for her, because women can bring the change that we need.
No, so is it a question of voting for this candidate just because they are a woman and using it as a free pass to get this role of voting them in because they have the credential, the capacity, the capability to deliver on the needs of this particular residents of that particular area?
When you see a woman on the ballot, this woman has the integrity. She has passed some hurdles. This woman comes from a political party, you know. So when you see a woman on the ballot, this woman must have integrity, this woman has the competence, and this woman has the courage and can be able to actually lead in whatever capacity that she is running for.
All right. Now, as we draw this conversation to a close, there comes in the role of we, the fourth estate, the media, fraternity, the broadcasters that are helping to set the agenda and helping to communicate your plans as a candidate to the residents of the particular area that you're hoping to ascend to the office of governance. Now, looking at understanding the role that the media has to play to your candidature, not just as a politician, but also as a woman who's aspiring to be a leader.
Yeah,
How can you work to ensure that the media is also helping you in your journey?
The media has a huge role to help women leaders and women politicians in terms of ensuring that the communities understand that women face some hurdles when it comes to women leadership, and to also highlight the different women who are running for various political offices. Because you see, when a woman decides to run, there are different hurdles that she has to pass through. And so I'm not going to open the book of lamentations on that, but what I would say is that media plays a big role, and media can really help ascend women into these offices.
Yeah, because there has been the allegations that media is mostly focusing on candidates that have a track record as opposed to those that are newly joining the political space.
Definitely what will happen is usually what happens, it's a normal thing that people start from known to unknown. But what I would wish is that the media would actually highlight that the women who are starting and women who are on the fore, who are trying to get into these leadership positions.
All right.
So that the communities can actually know that they are there and that they exist, and they can be able to vote them.
Okay. Now, there's your camera. Speak to Nairobi County residents looking at the fact that we have 33 days to go to cast our votes. There's your camera. Clarion call.
Nairobi, we have 33 days to go. And this is your moment, and this is your time. I'm passionate about Nairobi. I'm passionate about service delivery. I'm passionate about ensuring that there is sustainable water. I will work with the governor to to ensure that service reaches to each and every Nairobian, because every Nairobian matters. So on the 9th of August, I urge you, tell your neighbors, tell your friends, come out in large numbers and vote for me, Pamela Ateka, on a DAP candidature. Thank you so much.
All right. That is Pamela Ateka. She is a Nairobi senatorial candidate under the DAP ticket, and she also doubles as the founder of Community Focus Group, as well as Women in Democracy and Governance. Thank you so much for making time to be with us this morning.
Thank you so much, Wambui.
All right. So that brings us to a close of the program. Thank you so much for your valued company. We do appreciate the time you set aside to be with us here on Good Morning Kenya. For now, we say bye-bye. My name is Jain Wambui. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing.